So welcome and good morning. Welcome to the Cell and Gene meeting on the Mesa. My name is Bob Preti, and I have the distinct honor of being the chairman of the Alliance for Regenerative Medicine and to provide a few brief opening remarks today. For those of you who know me, brief is a different definition, so we'll be here a while, I think. I'd like to welcome everybody to this meeting, which is the largest partnering meeting specifically organized for our sector. A full agenda lies ahead for the nearly 900 attendees, including more than 1,100 partnering meetings, 90 speakers and panelists, more than 65 company presentations, and as you know, much more, that we've all come to expect from this truly remarkable gathering in this truly remarkable place. We hope you take full advantage of your time here. No other meeting provides such face-to-face networking opportunities with so many of our sector's leading executives, companies, research institutions, investors, patient organizations, and more all in one place. At this point last year, we were predicting a year of great inflection for the industry, a word that people say is sometimes overused, and it may well be. We were aware of several important transformative products that were on the lip of regulatory approval here in the United States, in Europe, and in Asia, or not, which could have caused a different type of an inflection, but an inflection nonetheless. And we were addressing the educational needs of patients and other stakeholders on issues such as reimbursement and issues they didn't fully understand, nor do we perhaps, about the potentials of gene medicine. All events that could change very much what it looks like to be in the present in this industry. And at the same time, we were approaching political elections. We had just been through Brexit, and we were approaching political elections in the United States and in Europe that had the potential to alter the playing ground and to go into areas that we had no idea where they would go. And why that was so important was that altered the playing ground and had the potential to alter the playing ground in which all of what I just talked about would occur. On the solid basis of 2016, we felt a momentum building and were addressing organizational changes at ARM to meet with what we knew to be, one way or the other, the opportunities for our member companies to influence the future of the entire sector. So there was an awful lot at stake. So where are we now? With more than 800 therapeutic developers and hundreds more tools and service providers, as well as medical research centers worldwide, there's a robust and expanding global sector active across all technology types, including gene therapy, genome editing, gene-modified cell therapy, tissue engineering, and biomaterials. Along with our data partner Informa, we identified 95 additional regenerative medicine and advanced therapy companies to add to our database so far this year. 2017 will go down in history as the year the first CAR-T product was approved in the United States. On August 30th, the US FDA approved Novartis's CAR-T cell-based gene therapy, Kymera, for the treatment of pediatric young adult B-cell relapsed refractory acute lymphoblastic leukemia. Naturally, CAR-T cell therapies and other cell-based immuno-oncology technologies will transform the standard of care for many oncological conditions. This approval was also notable for its outcomes-based approach with CMS. Payment only when patients respond to Kymera by the end of the first month. CMS acknowledged importantly that change is needed and said innovations like this reinforce our belief that current healthcare payment systems need to be modernized. Additional CAR-T and other advanced therapy breakthroughs likely to come shortly further underscore the need for innovative financing and payment models in the reimbursement space, including Kite's CAR-T product for non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, Spark Therapeutics' U.S. approval for inherited retinal disease gene therapy, EMA market authorization approval for Tygenix's cell therapy for Crohn's disease, and more. And additionally, there are nearly 900 ongoing clinical trials, with numerous products in late-stage clinical testing across all technology types. According to ARM's data provider Informa, there are 76 products worldwide in phase 3 by mid-year 2017, up over 15% compared to 66 products in phase 3 by the end of 2016. By mid-year, according to the most recent data available, companies active in this space had raised $4.26 billion worldwide, which is already more than 80% of the 2016 year-end total. Of course, we must mention here the almost $12 billion Gilead acquisition of Kite Pharma, with an anticipated close in Q4 of this year, so that isn't even included in these numbers, which would put us well past the 2015 totals, which we all acknowledged at that time might just be an outlier year. Well, maybe it isn't. 2017 has been a very strong year for financings, M&A, and deal-making across all areas, with a number of high-value and notable deals on the books. Significant deals in financings include Sangamo Pfizer's agreement worth up to $545 million, with $70 million upfront to Sangamo, Bluebird Bio's $460 million follow-on financing, Kite's $410 million follow-on financing, Spark Therapeutics' $402.5 million follow-on financing, and Juno's follow-on financing of $318 million, which is not reflected in these totals either. This sector also saw numerous consolidations in the manufacturing and enabling technology space, including Lonza's acquisition of autologous cell and gene contract manufacturer PharmaCell in Europe, broadening Lonza's international reach into that region. Hitachi Chemical's purchase of the remaining 80.1% stake in PCT from Caladrius Biosciences for a deal valued at $80 million, including $75 million in cash. The sector continues to show momentum year over year across all areas of technology type and all organization types. The clinical pipeline is robust and growing. A significant number of late-stage data events, with more anticipated in 2018, provides for more exciting times to come. And a sustained financing activity indicates belief in the sector's growth potential. We are experiencing that tremendous inflection for sure. We are right in the middle of it. After many years of labor of the people in this room, we're pushing this field to the point where we are now almost catching up to it ourselves. And now, to provide a brief overview of the many accomplishments and upcoming initiatives of the Alliance of Regenerative Medicine, where all of this will come together, it gives me great pleasure on behalf of the Board of Directors of ARM to introduce you to Janet Lynch Lambert, Chief Executive of ARM. Hiring a CEO was an important step for our organization to ensure ARM continues its role as a convener of regenerative medicine's multiple stakeholders, and Janet is ideally suited to this task. After a robust and wide-ranging search, Janet rose above all other candidates due to her career history, having checked off the individual boxes of skills that are required to manage the various elements of this very unique job. Because of her humility, her self-awareness and honesty, her gentle and grounded disposition, and her enthusiasm for the role. She is approachable and aware, and importantly knows what she knows and what she doesn't know, and is not afraid to reach out to us to fill in the blanks. Janet is an experienced government relations and business professional with a record of accomplishment in advancement in small and large organizations, both for-profit and not-for-profit. She has a track record of legislative successes and exceeding goals and commitments in various environments. Janet's experiences range from leading engagement and outreach at NIH through to leadership of its medicine initiative. Prior to this, she started and ran the Life Technologies government affairs function for more than a dozen years, while that company grew from $300 million to $3 billion in annual revenues. Building a combined advocacy, regulatory, and communications strategy, she advanced next generation of gene sequence and achieved multiple significant advocacy wins. She has run the company's PAC, turning it into the fourth largest biotech PAC, and also ran its foundation. Janet launched a coalition of industry, patient advocates, and universities to change the conversation about NIH, and helped drive the bipartisan support for the NIH funding you see today. I hope you can all recognize how perfectly suited Janet is for this role. We very much look forward to working with you, Janet, and ask all of you here to please provide your support in helping her work her magic here at ARM. Thank you.
Well, I just said to Bob, I wasn't expecting all that. So that was very nice. So now you know more about me than you were expecting to. It's just a distinct pleasure to be here. Obviously, I'm not always known for my timing, but I feel that my timing in this regard has been exceptional. To come and have the chance to work with you and in this sector just at this moment is a real privilege, and I'm thrilled to have the chance to do it. Let me see, how do I... So what I wanted to do is just make sure that you all had a sense of who ARM is and where we are, because as this sector is growing, so too is ARM, in order to try to meet the needs of the different constituencies that we represent. We are now up to 272 member organizations. Those organizations, as you can see on this left-hand pie chart, represent the diversity of the industry, and our growth actually continues also to reflect the diversity of the industry, so cell therapy, gene therapy, service providers, tissue engineering, and the like. We also are diverse in terms of sort of the nature of our member organizations. So while we have a substantial corporate membership, as is reflected on these charts, those corporate members are themselves distinct. We have large companies, probably 50%, a little bit more than 50% of those corporate members are organizations with fewer than 100 employees. So we have the breadth of developmental stages and organizational sizes, as well as reflecting both the corporate community, the patient advocacy community, and the academic community. And that multi-stakeholder identity of ARMS has been a distinction of ARMS from the very beginning. We've had a terrific growth year so far this year. We have 54 new members already this year, and continue to see a really exciting growth potential for ourselves going forward. So tomorrow, Maury Ruffin and Michael Werner and I will talk a bit about sort of what we think the 2018 initiatives of ARM will be. But today we're going to give you a little bit of the highlights reel of 2017. One of the most significant accomplishments we've made on your behalf is the introduction of a new regulatory approval pathway and designation called the Regenerative Medicine and Advanced Therapies designation. This was created as part of a piece of legislation only in December of 2016, and yet has now already resulted in 7 companies being awarded this RMAT designation, which for those of you who are used to working with government agencies know that to go from legislation to implementation in that period of time is a rather remarkable development, and much credit is due to Michael Werner and the efforts of the members who have been really focused on driving kind of regulatory improvements on behalf of the sector. The other thing we've managed to do this year is to launch a standards coordinating body. We have heard loud and clear from folks about the manufacturing challenges in this sector, and the standards coordinating body was stood up in order to facilitate, expedite, and draw needed attention to the standards work in this field in order to drive commercialization. We just found out just within the last week that the FDA has awarded the standards coordinating body a $2.4 million grant in order to continue that work, and that will give it the infrastructure and the resources that it needs to really drive progress in this space. So we're real excited about that. We've also done a lot of work in the reimbursement space this year, which is sort of table setting, if you will. We've published a series of white papers defining kind of what's unique about this sector when it comes to reimbursement. What are the particular portability challenges, the issues that come with paying one time up front as opposed to a small amount over time. So we've identified sort of the key issues. We'll publish a third paper shortly, which sorts of narrow in on solutions to those problems. And we're really in the process, and invite you into the process of refining what is the advocacy agenda we need to undertake, what are the specific legislative and regulatory barriers that are in the way of us having a rich and promising reimbursement environment for the kind of therapies we're generating. Lastly, we continue to sort of do important work in Europe, again with our European and global member companies. There have been a number of important issues around hospital exemption and market access and reimbursement. We've just brought on a new colleague who has a deep background in market access issues in Europe, and we're really pleased to have him join the team. So these are some areas in which we've done some good work this year. As I said, we'll give you a little bit of a preview about where we're headed for those of you who are already our members. We appreciate your efforts both in membership and in sort of day-to-day activity of guiding the organization. And for those of you who aren't, hopefully you'll come talk to me and consider joining forces with us, because I think there's so many key issues in front of us and so much opportunity that we'd love to do it with you. So thank you very much.